Welcome on Photoshop. Photoshop is one of my main tools when it's about drawing or productivity. And when you open it, maybe you get your Lightroom photography, but that's not what we're gonna do. I'm gonna create a new document, and a new document, there's like a movie and video presets. And those presets got sizes, they've got like white background, they've got square pixels and anything you need. So I usually take the presets as they are, and when you open it, you've got guides, you've got blue guides, but I want to remove the snapping if it's on, because you don't want your drawing to be stuck to snapping. It's easy to get caught. Then we've got Workspaces. This is my motion video workspace, but I'm not really gonna use it. I'm gonna create a timeline, but in that timeline, then since I'm painting, well, I go back to that painting workspace. Here, when I'm starting to work as it is, it's in the timeline. So now I've got anything I need. I can paint and I can use the timeline to play things and to move things around. But I'm going to use it with a very special small extension. So it's located in your plugins window, and then you go to window, you go to extensions, and you get Anime Dessin. So Anime Dessin, you can get it from Stéphane Baril webpage, and Stéphane Baril did Photoshop add-ons installers, and then from there you're gonna go to his GitHub page, and that's a small ZXP extension. You can install it with Anastasia installer for Photoshop and anything Creative Cloud, and then you can even get references of what is done with Photoshop animation, maybe with Anime Dessin or different tools, and all of this is done with the painting. So I've installed my Anime Dessin, I've got my timeline, I've got the installation here, and I can show or hide the timeline. I can create a new folder, and that folder, yeah, it has to be done with a motion setting, a motion setup. And once the motion setup is created, you're gonna create directly with the extension a small folder. It's gonna be a video group folder, and in that the extension is gonna place you a layer, and each layer has the duration you need. So here I'm gonna grab a brush. These are Kyle Webster's brushes. I love them, and I'm gonna pick one color from my swatches. So I take this image, and then +1, I'm gonna create a new layer. So if I do a +1 there, oh yeah, by the way, I do it again because I didn't work on the empty layer. So if I do a +1, then I'm gonna get a new layer 2, and I'm gonna put the onion skin. That's a small button here. So now I can see what's happening, and +1, +1, +1, I'm gonna create and I'm gonna draw every frame of my animation. So here I'm obviously making something not so interesting at the moment. It's just a stroke that's moving, but I'm using Photoshop brushes, so it's pretty good. And then I realized that I want my animation to loop. And if I want it to loop, then it means I got to go back to the first frame. And the first frame, I'm gonna Alt click to duplicate it. And then from here, I can add a +1. I can make an in-between frame and +1 in-between frame until my animation loops the most smoothly as possible. And I know where my beginning is, so I can remove it, and I can just maybe take that frame. I don't need a color on it. And all of this, you can do it directly in Photoshop, but it's fun to see it go like that. I've got a play button, of course. I'm gonna cut because I can edit in Photoshop. I can edit video. I don't know if you knew that. We're gonna go to edit video quite soon. And this is my animation. It took just a few seconds to make the few strokes, and I can see them in the layers. And now, what about rendering it? So, File, Export, and I'm gonna go to Video Export. I can pick a name, of course. I can decide, once I put a name, on it if it's gonna be like a media encoder video or if it's gonna be a frame by frame folder. So I can make if I do a frame by frame, I want to make a subfolder to be sure you don't fill your hard drive with files wherever they're supposed to be. I can pick like PNG, and all my images are gonna be saved in one folder, one after the other. And once all of this is done, then I'm gonna get a folder, and I can like maybe import into After Effects, Premiere, or whatever editing software you're gonna be using. So it's completely up to you, and I let it do the rendering. Sequence folder is here, and now I can see that I've got transparent PNG animation file that I draw in just a few seconds. Of course, you might want like maybe a white background because it's possible, and you can go back to File, Export, and from File, Export, I can do video rendering, but this time I'm not gonna do sequence, I'm gonna do Adobe Media Encoder. It's exactly the same process that you're gonna do in video. Here I export directly in H.264, like maybe I want to export for YouTube, but I'm gonna make directly the video, and it's gonna export everything. And since it's H.264, I don't have transparency on it, but it's okay. At one moment, you might have noticed that I had video and audio track, and then they are packaged as a file that you can upload to whichever video account you've got or website, or maybe any part of the project that you'd be interested in. And don't forget one thing. We are in Photoshop, which means I can use filters, I can use coloring, I can use, like here, I'm using the basic hue saturation, but that could be anything. And I'm using my layers because I know how it's working, and I'm gonna clip it to the layer underneath, and I'm gonna see like, oh, okay, only the last frame is filtered, so I can expand in the timeline the duration of my effect. That's starting to be quite interesting, I guess. And you know what? We can go further than just expanding out to the timeline, because in the timeline option, I can unfold, and you see I can add this little clock watch, and from there I can say like maybe I've got no effect at one moment, and I can also take that keyframe, I can right click and I can copy the keyframe, I can right click in the same place, and I can ask to paste the keyframe. And now I've got my effect shown, no effect, effect, no effect. And then it's gonna loop smoothly on my video. So that's pretty fun. Other thing I wanted to try with you is to make a text. So I picked a font. You know, with your Creative Cloud, you can get like any font you need. So you can use it, you can style it, you can put, you can work on the spacing. Whatever you can do in Photoshop, you're gonna be able to do it right now. It's just a matter of how you get used to your application, and you can pick any Adobe font, and that's really good because you can filter like, oh, do I want a monospace font, do I want a scripting font? We've got like, I think there's something like 2,000 different fonts that you could use, so it's very, very practical. And from there you can use it, choose it, do whatever you want, and place it on your document. I guess you might already know how to use that in Photoshop, but still, I'm still showcasing it, okay? Last small adjustments, placing. That's why I still put the guide, because I don't want it to be too close from the bottom. And then I can adjust the length. I can use the scissors to cut and divide my layer in the timeline, and then I've got text, I've got animation, frame by frame, I've got filtering, I've got layers on that, and I can even use, we've got CC libraries, and those libraries, maybe I can go and I can fetch, maybe I've got images down there. I could even filter something to get an image or a picture that comes from Adobe stock. So what I'm gonna look for, maybe a texture, because I want it to be to get the feeling of a real live animation on paper, or maybe I want to get a texture from a wall, and I can use it. I can filter it directly from the application. I'm gonna take only picture photographs, and I'm gonna bring that inside my document. So bringing it is quite easy. I take it, plus I can add to the document, and first to the library and then to the document, and I can put that layer here. Okay, I'm gonna place, and I'm gonna use, so you see there's like a watermark for Adobe stock. So if you're using it for a commercial project and you want the higher resolution, then you directly buy it. And up, I've got I put a clipping mask on top. I'm gonna check on what kind of blending mode I'm gonna use on this document. I don't know, maybe I can pick anything. There's been a couple of improvements inside Photoshop regarding the blending modes. Yeah. So which one should be the best suited? Okay, maybe this one. Yeah, it's discreet enough. It's cool. I kind of like it. And that's what I wanted to do, like showing you that directly in Photoshop I can do that animation. I can, of course, I'm gonna cut I'm gonna cut the image. Be careful of not moving your workspace too bad. Okay, select, display, make everything bigger. Don't hesitate to take the workplace as you need it. Cut, remove. And now I've got edited my video. I've got this texture from an image, and I can do the rendering again. And yeah, now you know the process. So you just give it a new name, and you've got your video with text and picture. Now I just exported it. There's something you might not know about Photoshop. You've seen that I could just make a frame by frame animation, but did you know that in Photoshop you can even edit video? Yeah, it's kind of surprising because Photoshop is for flat image. But then look at that. I take my video and I just placed the very same video inside of my document. And now it's not a PSD format, it's not layers. It's really an MP4 video, so it's a short one, but I can duplicate, I can place it where I need it, and there are a few options, like maybe I can go here and I can make transition. I can have like a fade to black, and I can have a crossfade between different videos. I can take, okay, this is gonna be fade to black in the end, and I can shorten the transition between two clips, and you're gonna see the video clip is slowly transferring from one to the other, and I'm gonna keep the darken of my document. Well, I hope you liked it, and I hope you discovered many more options on Photoshop.